Hi, Roger K. Young here, Total Solar Innovations. We're putting together a wind generator, 2,000 watt wind generator, and so it'll do 2,000 watts in about a 50-55 mile an hour wind, and about 1,000 watts in about a 25-30 mile an hour wind. So first thing you do is you open up the package, you kind of lay all the parts out here. This didn't come in the package and this didn't come, but you have your generator, you have your wires, you have your connectors, your to put it on, on the pole that goes on a 1.5 inch pole. You have all the different parts. You have your blades, you have your tail, you have your diversion controller, you have your rectifier, and I got a couple different kinds to show you the difference between them. And you have your actual diversion heat sink there. So, okay, one of the first things you need to do is you take the top of your pipe before you put it up, and you measure 9.5 inches down and mark it. Because that is where you take this, and this holds it up, and you put the top of that on that 9.5 inch mark. Tighten it. And then the unit sits on top of that. I'll show you in a minute. With this bushing, when you put this on, it comes with this nylon bushing you can put down here and it'll rotate around it. I prefer to use this bearing slip. Put down and it turns even better and easier and freer. I have had occasion where it sticks a tiny bit and it doesn't turn with the slightest wind, and so I just like that little bearing a little bit better. Okay, now we have it marked here, and we're putting along with our unit. We give you 110 feet, that's 55 feet of cord that comes through the pipe, and you feed it down through the pipe, and so it comes out the rear. This is just a sample model so we can show you here. So as we bring it put this on it, we'll show you the procedure here. Okay, go ahead and pick that up, and I'll... All right, now, notice that when you get it, all you'll need to do here, we'll turn this around here, is be able to plug in this to here and that to here, and it doesn't matter which way. It could be this one to here or this one to here, it doesn't matter on that. So this is all ready to go, and what we'll need to do is we'll need to secure. Now this comes out like this. Comes out like this. Now this little bracket here serves two purposes. One, it'll hold this so that the full weight of the 50 feet of cable is not pulling on this unit here. Okay? And so we'll have to adjust that. But the other thing is that it prevents the unit, when it's flying, to literally lift off, so it holds it on the pole. I've had, by sad experience, a time when somebody didn't put that on, and it literally took it off the pole when it hit about a 65-75 mile an hour wind, and took it right off the pole, and it was just left dangling by the wires. Okay, so you need to put that on that clamp on there. All right, so let's bring this down. All right, if you pull on that right there. Notice how this is adjusting. And there we go. Okay? So now we screw this in. Okay, so this is the swivel wire harness, and we've drilled 3 holes here. So all you need to do is just put in the screws. One there, one here, and one there, and you'll be in good shape. Okay. Okay. Now with that in, and there's one that goes here, I'm not going to put that one in right now. With that in, we can now kind of bend that and start tightening this up. All right, we're just tightening this down now. Sometimes it's better if you have a couple guys working with you on this. Hold that there. All right, so we tighten that. It still has swivel. The screws miss the top here, okay, and it swivels nice because we have this bracket here, and we have that swivel on it that we showed you earlier. So now we can go ahead and put the propeller on, okay? Now they're the same, but you can either put it this way, like this, or you can put it down. It doesn't matter. Either way, it works just fine. Okay? And if these don't line up, you can bend it just a tiny bit and it'll adjust. If these 2 screws here, bolt holes in the back don't line up. You take this big round piece, heavy, thick, it's about a 1/4 inch thick of steel. You put these through this way. And then you take your blade and make sure it says G5 up on top. When it says G5 on top, then you can put the blade on. Like that. Put a washer on, and then you tighten that. You put on your nuts. Okay? It's better if you have 2 guys do this. Now when you tighten it, you be careful not to tighten it too much or it'll crack. It's got to be firm. But don't over tighten it or it'll crack the blade. This is carbon fiber. It's not fiberglass, it's carbon fiber. So there's one. Okay. You can put it on the table and do everything on it on the table, but here's another cheater way. One way is to put this on this and put it on here. Kind of holds it in place. But before you do that, you got to put your bolts in first. Put this on. So you see the bolts sticking out this way. For now, just put this on so it doesn't fall off while you're working on it. Now it's fairly easy to go ahead and put your blades on. Oh, Got to put the washer on first.
But actually, it probably isn't.
Okay. Actually, it'll go this way. Okay. All right. Now we've got this on here, and so I'll use a lock washer and a nut. Now often I'm going to put a liquid nut lock on it here, and when I put this on it, so it holds it even better and stronger. But I'm not, because we're going to be shipping this here in a little bit. I just wanted to show our customer how to do that. And to put it on, you put your here, you take your big one. And that's how you do it. Like that. Okay? So, after you come to the rectifier, you have your three wires into your rectifier, and you have your 2 wires out. Now these will be much larger cable. We have 3-phase coming into it. This coming out should be 6-gauge wire. Could be 4-gauge, but usually it's 6-gauge wire. It would be fine, because from here we go into the diversion controller. Now this is a diversion controller and set up all in one. It's really nice. And so what happens is that it comes with an instruction manual. It's a pretty good manual along this line. So you break out the incoming, goes here. This also can be used with wind and solar energy. You can do that. This is a 440 amp diversion controller. It's already pre-wired. It has breakers, dual breakers in it. It's a really nice system. Okay, and so you have your wiring coming into here, and then from here you're hooking up your batteries to it. The other thing you hook up to it is your diversion. Now, unlike solar panels, when you have your solar panels and the batteries are full, your solar charge controller will say the batteries are full, you're not pulling the electricity out, and it'll just shut it off down. It'll close the circuit, okay, or actually open the circuit, and so you won't have to worry about it. But wind, you don't want it to do that, because if you did that, then these might free spin a little bit. And so what you have to do is divert that electricity to something else. In other words, throw it away or use it for something else. Now usually you have what's called either one of 2 things. You either use it to and this is nothing but a resistor, you know, like they use in heaters, whatever. It's wired. You waste electricity. It makes it really hot. So if you have a room to heat, that'll do it. Another way would be used these for, you know, heating water. I prefer the heating water, but sometimes you don't need that. Okay. For this one, since it's such a big system, it's a 2,000 watt. This is 1,500 watts. Okay. Each one of these is 300. We'll take care of 300 watts. 4, 5, 6. You know, there's 1,500 watts there. Okay. And so we need another 2 up here. So this provides extra. So we'll hook these up together here, so you can do that. So the diversion goes here, and so there'll be a place for the incoming, place for outgoing to the batteries, and well, actually it'll go to your power distribution box, and that's where it junctions with the batteries. And from here it goes out to here. Okay. Now, for running out to this power, you'll need at least 1/0 cable. Let's talk a little bit about battery cable sizes or cable sizes. Coming out to either the diversion or to the batteries, you'll need different, a thicker wire. It needs to be multi-strand wire. What you need to understand is that AC travels on the inside of the wire. DC travels on the outside of the wire. So AC likes to have thick one-strand cable. DC likes to have multiple strands because it travels on the outside of the cable. Anyway, so from here to the diversion controller cable, you can use a 2-gauge cable, much thicker, and that's probably what you could get away with, as long as it's not over 50, 20 feet or 30 feet. But if you start running really long ones, you start running into 4/0 cable, like this kind of stuff. Notice the thickness here, okay? And there's multiple strands. There's a gazillion little strands of cable in here. So depending on your run, and there's tables that you could go on the internet and find. Now, how far it is. You want to keep all the electronic components together as much as you possibly can, and so usually we put it on this and the solar charge controller and the inverter, usually on a 4x4 board. Okay. Now this is about 10 feet away or someplace, 10, 15, 20 feet away, and so we hook that together. Let me explain how we set up the rectifier and the lightning arrestor. So why don't you zoom in here and let me explain a little bit about that. So because we have a dual PMG wind generator, we have 2 cables that come out, all right? And so we have dual rectifiers that change that from AC 3-phase into DC single phase right here. Now this wiring, if you notice here, is set up, and we assemble this for you depending on what you have. This is an assembly for a 48 volt. So we have 24 coming in here, 24 volts coming in here, and so we do it in series, positive to negative, okay, in, and then positive, negative, out. I mean, these link together, positive, negative, and that gives us 48 volts and goes into here. Now, that we use 48 volts on our house systems, but we use 24 volts on our portable systems, okay? And so if we wanted to do a 24 volt system, we'd go from here to here. This wire would go from here to here, and then this wire would be moved to here. So we'd have positive to positive, a double system here to do that. And I'll do a little quick video on that. Now, it comes into our little box that we prepare for you, and this is a simple so let me show the inside here. A simple wiring here, and that we have the incoming coming in here, and then we have the lightning arrestor hooked in, and then these cables here go out to your, and these 2 wires are going out to that diversion controller. All right, and so you can see how it's wired in here. We'd have one more wire coming in here, and that would be a ground. So we'd have, this is the ground, and we'd have the ground coming out and going to a master ground. Okay. Okay. Now this has a simple off-on switch. This is it. When you put it in this way, it says on here. They're linked together. When you pull this off, it's no longer working. Okay, so it's a master off and on switch for your system if you want to use it. All right? Okay. All right, let me show you how to set it up for a 24 volt system. Come on in. So in a 24 volt system, we have to put it in parallel. positive to positive, negative to negative. So this has been pre-wired with both positive to positive, negative to negative, and then we take the leads back off into our little box for our lightning arrestor in here. Okay, so make sure if you have a portable system, it's a 24-volt system. If you have a do-it-yourself house kit, it's a 48-volt system.